Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Thursday night Scrap Your Scraps. Last week we worked on little photo mats where we attached little strips of paper around the edges in different colors to kind of create sort of a more organic photo mat for your photos. Well, this week I'm going to take that one step further and we are going to work on using that theory, but in a 12 by 12 page. So what I've done here is I've pulled out a whole bunch of what I call flower colors. So there's pinks, there's oranges, there's yellows, there's purples, there's greens. There's not very many blues, but I can find some blues if I decide I want them. But colors that I would sort of think about in terms of what flowers might look like color-wise. And I'm using a black mat. Now this used to be 12 by 12, but I have cut it down to 11 by 11, which leaves me a ½ inch on all sides to put my strips. So, and I can put them anywhere within that ½ inch range. So what I want to do is I'm going to flip over my paper. So I'm going to be working from the back, and I'm just going to put a little tacky tape so that it doesn't move too much. And let's just kind of put it in the middle. And I'm not securing it super tight. I just want to be able to work on the back without having too much movement. And this grid on my page also helps me align the fact that I can move up and down within that ½ inch space. Okay, so I'm still going to be using my tearing edges because I really want to still have that kind of, what do you call it? What would I call that? I would call that distressed edge. So I'm going to start with a purple piece, and I'm just going to put some adhesive on the bottom like I did with all the other things, and I am going to place that randomly somewhere within my ½ inch on the top or the bottom. And I like to be able to have them, the color be sort of, oops, the color be sort of spread around. Whoops, I did the wrong side of that one. Okay. So starting off well. So you got to remember your colors got to always go down if you're working from the back. Once I get a fair number of colors on here and I can sort of envision that ½ inch after laying out a number on each side, then I'll go back to just working from the front side. But this is at least to just get me going in terms of how much a ½ inch actually is. Now, let's put the tape on the front side. There we go. And the reason I'm keeping within that 12 by 12 is because I want to make sure it'll fit into an album. And without, being a problem and getting all junked up in an album. Okay, so I am just going to tear a little bit off this piece so I can still have that rough edge. Put some tape on the front side, and there we go. There we are. And try to keep it as aligned as you can. Alrighty, so that was like a purple. Now let's go into a nice bright yellow. This has brown on the back, but I like the yellow on the front. And I'm going to tear off a couple of pieces of this. Whoops, that's a little small. There we go. It's got a bit of red in it. Whoops, again, too small. All right, now, actually, I'm going to use the small pieces because I do want to get just a bit under. So just placing that just a bit under the ½ inch mark. So there's some variety of heights. And do that here as well. And maybe a little bit down. There we go. And take this one. And I think I'll keep that one a little bit spaced out. Now these obviously take a little longer than your average pieces. I think I'm going to add another one over on this side. Oops. See, this is what you don't want to have happened with your adhesive. So if there's any way to get it off, let's try. There we go. Yuck. Do not like that. Do not want sticky on that side of my adhesive container. Alright. Okie dokie. I'm just going to put that guy there. Alright. So now I've got yellow, purple. Let's take some green, but I want some polka dots and a little bit wider. And I'm going to rip off some pieces. Whoops. Rip that in the other direction. There we go. And there's a few more. And let's see. Gonna have that come out to that 1/2 inch mark. There we go. Same with this one. That might be a little too far out. Minimize that a bit. There we go, because we don't want it hanging over. If we have it too far over, we'll just have problems getting it into an actual page protector. So we don't want to have that issue. There we go. And okay, I'm going to put this side by side. Maybe a little overlapped. There we go. Okay, keep those pieces for later. I think I want, do I have pink on here yet? Nope, let's put some pink on here. This looks like a good one. Tear off the top. And then just tear a few pieces. So this one I'm going to put small. Oops. And what's the purple? The purple is the white. So I don't want it to go right beside the white. Could have it over this a little bit. Okay. So I'm just kind of randomly putting this around. Maybe I'll put this down here. Okay. Oops. Put the tape on the wrong side, so let's just pull that apart. A little bit there. Let's see. And I'm building this side, so why not put it here? And I'll keep that piece for later. Now I want, I'm going to put some orange in there. So let's see Get a little bit of a bigger piece of orange. Ooh, that's a nice hot looking orange. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of off the top and cut. I think I'm just going to put 3 of these on, and the reason I'm doing that is because it is quite an aggressive color. And kind of line that up there. There we go. I don't want to put it with that one. I can put it with this one. There we go. And let's see, that's at the 2, so let's just put this a little bit lower. Okay. Now I think I'm going to be able to switch this over now and try to align it in that 1/2 inch. So this is what we've got so far. It's hard to see. My light is kind of bleaching everything out. Let me see if I can reduce the lighting. That's going up. So we have a purple, we have some greens. It will have much more impact the more we go. Alrighty, so I'm going to go into yellow. And again, tear off the top piece. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that one aside. That's interesting. That came out yellow anyway. Alright. Now that I'm getting colors, so if that's a 1/2 inch there, let's see. I'm going to drop that down. There we go. This one I'm going to put up higher with that 1/2 inch. There we go. Okay, I'm going to combine that with the green, and the green is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put that just a little under the 1/2 inch. There we go. Put this with the purple and a little bit lower than that 1/2 inch. Whoops, slipped out. There we go. So as you can see, things are building up. Now I think I want to go for some darker purple. This is actually darker purple, even though it looks quite bright on the screen. So 1, 2, I'm going to only do 3 of these. And I'm going to bring it up to that 1/2 inch. Just make sure that that works. Nope. There we go. Bring this up to the 1/2 inch. There we go. And bring this up to the 1/2 inch. Just slip it under there. Actually, this one I think I'll drop a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, so now we're building. Now I'm not going to use all of these strips, but it's nice to have all of these strips so that when I'm digging through, I can find, you know, different widths. And all right, so I'm just going to finish around the outside of this so that you can see the finished product, and then I'm going to show you some other examples of ones that I have created using the same technique but in a different style with a different purpose. Awesome. Okay, and then I might put that dark purple in there because I can. A little bit on the end there. Just stick that under there, like so. And I think that is everything. Okay, so I need to reduce the lighting so that you all can see it a little better. Y'all. There we go. Alrighty, so there we have our finished page. And then if you want to improve upon that, you can add your little matted pieces on there as well. So that's one way to do it. Now I'm going to show you some other ways that I did this. Okay, so here is the one we were working on, completely finished. Sorry for the shine on the paper here, but you can see that it goes all the way around the outside, and it's no bigger than an 12 by 12. So there we go. You can see it inside a 12 by 12. So that is one way to do it, just like we did with our mats. Now you could make this more aggressive by cutting this paper down in size even more and having more of a variety of length on each of the pieces. This one is now doing the reverse. So this one we cut this page down and then added the border to it. This one we're keeping the page the proper size, and we've moved all the strips to the inside, and you can lay out your mats however you would like on there. And I find that with doing sort of monochromatic looks, every once in a while having a punch of color is a good thing. It gets your eye moving around the page. And then this one is taking that idea of going around the outside of a mat, but then matting it on another piece so that it's like a frame within a frame. So here is that done, as you can see. And now those three were done in a very sort of random kind of rippy method. This next one is done much more linearly and more measured. So this one is using an inner color and an outer frame and spacing your papers but cutting them cleanly. So you have so this is about, let's see, what did I do? 10.5 by 10.5 for the mat, the purple mat. It's 12 by 12 on the white paper. And then what I did is I worked between 1 inch and 1 7/8 inch, no, 1 inch and 1 5/8 inches. And I just cut all the colors in varying sizes and ended up with a mat that looks like this. Now the edges are something you do need to consider. So when we were doing the outer edge stuff, we just made sure that our edges where our paper crossed, we were able to have some edges there. But when you're doing it inside, it's a little bit different. You have to make sure that you're going to have something that's going to go in those corners so that it doesn't look like you have this edge that is rough running against this edge that is rough. So I kind of finished the corners in a way that would allow your eye to still move around the page. And then on this one, I just did it balanced. So because I left space in between each of the pieces of paper, I was able to leave a little bit at each edge. And what I did do is I planned that the top would go straight up and then the bottom would come straight out to either side. So you have to kind of manipulate your paper to help you to create that kind of an image or that kind of spacing. And so that is it for the strip background border thingy that I've been working on. I hope that you've enjoyed playing around with your little strips this way, and I think we're going to get back to working with some bigger pieces and what we can do with those bigger pieces and take it outside the box a little bit. So that's it for me for this week's Scrap Your Scraps. Crafty Chris saying see you next week. Bye now.